and I'm listening. Right across the line from them North Korean nukes. Matt listens in Irwin, PA. Jerry is a new bureau chief in Palm Harbor, Florida. Chelsea's up in Peterborough, Ontario. Emily listens in the beautiful city of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Ken's down in Charlotte. And Steve listens in Tooele, Utah. So there you go. And if you are watching the live stream, you tip of the hat to Listerine Shekelho, who's helping out today.
Doing a good job.
By the way, as we go into the weekend, we designate the beginning of that around here with the Bill Squire Friday Get Down.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, that'll be a little bit later on. And again, I've mentioned it before. I don't want to be a broken record, but there are people who have told me, hey, Alan, no disrespect, but Fridays to me, it's just all, it's all preamble to the Bill Squire Friday Get Down.
Exactly.
Is all it is.
My sentiments, exactly.
Oh, was that you that left me that message?
I mean, there's probably millions of people leaving me that message, but I am in lockstep with them.
All right. Millions. Wow.
If not billions.
Good for us, if not billions. Cavaliers play tonight. They are in Indiana to play the Pachers, I believe, taken from the Latin. And 7 o'clock is your tip-off. This is their final preseason game. They'll start the regular season on Wednesday against the Nets. They'll start it up in Brooklyn. They'll come home to play their first game at the Romo Fijo 1 week from tonight, 7:30 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But tonight, 7 o'clock in Indiana, and then 6:30 is when the pregame will get going. So we'll roll out at 6:30, throw you another $1,000 for the Buzzard bookie, and then right into Cavs pregame tonight. Okay, so a bunch of people sent me this story, and they're like, do you think that this is made up? And it feels very Hollywood to me, the story about Cher and her much younger boyfriend breaking up because he just couldn't keep up with her in bed. And I'm like, boy, this is a PR... Absolutely. This is a press release that goes out, and I don't know why, because God bless Cher, but she's 77 years old, and I don't know why you have to, like, maintain that part of your image. She was dating a guy who was 37 years old. He's 40 years her junior. This guy, Alexander Edwards, and he was doing his own thing, like, I guess in some circles, people know who he is. I don't know if he's a fashion designer or what it is.
Yeah, he's probably like, yeah, I can't keep getting it up for this 80-year-old lady.
But imagine the PR person, and this dude, by the way, too, who is going along pretending. I mean, that makes him look like a dope.
But it's
pretending that he couldn't
but
keep
people know
up.
His name now because of it. So
no, understood. I mean, but yeah, that's a. You really gotta want to be famous or up your profile when you're dating Cher, and who knows what they're doing behind closed doors. But listen, Cher's had a lot of work done. She has worked hard to keep herself in some kind of shape where you look at her and you go, well, she doesn't look 77, but she is 77. And so the story that's out there is she's just insatiable and wearing him out. And I had a couple people hit me up with comments. They were like, well, the guy does most of the work anyway, so that's probably why he's all gassed out. I'm like, what kind of sex are you having where you're doing all the work? First of all, the fact that you call it work is a little bit of a tip-off as to what's going on in your bedroom or your couch or your playroom or daybed or whatever. But the story from the Cher camp was that her boyfriend was just didn't know what to do. Every time he's trying to do something in the studio, she's demanding more, and it's become a burden. And so I just don't know why at this point you need that kind of validation out there.
Because she's looked at as a granny now. I don't think she's looked at as a sex symbol anymore. I think everyone knows that she is hoisted up by something.
What?
I'm going to tell you this. There wasn't a moment in my life where I looked at Cher as a sex symbol.
Listen, when I was a kid, she was crazy hot. Yeah. Like when she was doing
never has done it for me.
Chelsea's triumphs and fields. You know, that was all great. But
no,
she's 77 years old.
Like, Sarah Jessica Parker holds the title, but Cher is the OG horseface lady.
Oh, you think she's a horseface?
I mean, that's when I was a kid, that's what I always thought when I saw her.
I thought she was really foxy.
Nah, she never did it for me.
And crazy talented. You know, we were talking yesterday about Gene Simmons and his 40.
And I don't think she's unattractive. She just doesn't
make it move.
Not for me, no.
We were talking
yesterday. Maybe me and this guy have it in common.
We're talking about people's body counts yesterday and how Gene Simmons, 4,800 girls, and I got among those 4,800 women, but it wasn't all road beef. Cher, Diana Ross, you know, it was a whole string of like celebrities too. Cher, of course, famously with Greg Allman. They have a kid. Sonny Bono. I mean, that was kind of the wild card there, but she was young and impressionable, whatever. I just don't know what this obsession is with. I still have to be seen as hot in my 70s. I don't understand it.
She's not a Christy Brinkley.
What does that mean?
As in she's 70 and still a sex symbol.
No, but Christy Brinkley, listen, I don't think anyone who is 70 is a sex symbol.
Christy Brinkley definitely is a sex symbol. If you look like that is she 70 or is she 60?
She's 69 years old.
Nice.
No, but what I'm saying is Christy Brinkley was a model. So I understand how difficult that can be if your entire public persona was, I'm famous because I'm hot. It cannot be easy. You know, you read that horror story about Linda Evangelista, who got jacked up in the face because she had some procedure done. Christy Brinkley has had work done. All these women,
the right amount of work, because she's great.
Well, she still looks great, but it's not like she's in that Ferrari in Vacation anymore. But I don't. So if you were a model, at least I understand the mental thing of I really want to keep myself as close to that as I can. Cher was not a model. She was a very accomplished singer and artist and all that. So I guess that's always in your brain. Getting older sucks, whatever. But this thing where you have to be like, my 40 years younger boyfriend couldn't keep up with me. It's not like the guy's 19. He's pushing 42. But, I mean,
okay,
so
Cher,
weird.
before she had work done, was very different. I'm used to Cher in the 90s. Like, my introduction to Cher was when she did the Beavis and Butthead movie soundtrack and did I Got You, Babe, with Beavis and Butthead.
No, Cher, like in the 80s when she was going to the Grammys with her ass hanging out. I mean, that was a big deal. That was back when Cher was like she was like the Lady Gaga of her time, because she would show up to award ceremonies with like her jugs barely covered up. She'd have her ass hanging out. I mean, that kind of stuff. Everybody's like, oh my God, Cher.
That hippie chick.
And she was in movies and she was great in those. Witches of Eastwick, super hot in that. Moonstruck. I thought she was foxy.
Again, before 90 Mermaid Cher, and on is kind of what I think of when I think of Cher, and just never did it for me.
But to put
I think she's a great performer. She's obviously got a great body, all that stuff. Just was never my
I understand.
Type. Yeah.
But to put it out there that like her boyfriend can't keep up.
No way.
I mean, does anybody believe that anyone who is 77 is constantly trying to have sex?
No. You know, she...
And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I mean, there is, you know, people want to make it a point that, like, hey, just because you're old doesn't mean that you're dead, right? There's plenty of people older than that having sex.
If anything, he's tired of fetching the lube.
Yeah, how often do you want to have sex with a 77-year-old? That's what it's like, yeah, I can't keep up. Like, because I would rather, if she were 40, if she were 30... I'd be in there every time. But as she's a 77-year-old lady, and she wants to have sex way more than I want to with her.
But also maybe this is an option too, is that this guy started dating her to up his profile, because, you know, people are still following her around and people don't know who, it sounds like he's a producer or something. People didn't know who he was. Maybe he just assumed it was going to be a TMZ relationship. And she was like, oh no. You're getting all up in these
bell, and he's like,
you're getting all up in these guts on the regular, and he's like, oh God.
Just like Woody Harrelson in Kingpin. Yeah.
Hey, Tiger.
Yeah.
She's like,
he's like, I got producing to do, and she's like, smoking a cigarette.
better get over here and get under my skirt. Yeah.
And you know he's on her payroll.
You know who pays for that studio time, don't you, Toots?
So that might be what it is, but they're split up. So she's not going to be his benefactor anymore, and he's not going to be her bonefactor. But I'm sure they had some beautiful times together. I'm sure that, it's mutually beneficial, right? Because that's those kinds of things are, because that puts her in the arena of continuing to date young guys. Although she could date she could date a guy my age, and that would still be a much younger guy than her.
She could date George Clooney, and it'd be like this younger man with
Cher's robbing the cradle with George Clooney.
You think your mom would go out with a 37-year-old?
Shut up, Bill. My mom, she's 75 years old.
Right, and so maybe a 35-year-old for her.
My mom is going to be 76 in a couple of weeks.
She takes after Cher.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I'm not asking anything about that. I'm just checking in on my mom occasionally to make sure that she's okay. I'm sorry, she's going to be 75 this year. She'll be 75 in a couple of weeks. And to the best of my knowledge, there's nothing weird like that going on. Not that it's even weird. It's just unusual, right? The heart wants what the heart wants. And if Cher wants a really, really young dude, who are we to say otherwise? But I'll tell you what, Poundcake mentions the Lube. It hadn't even occurred to me, and I've told the story before. When my first full-time gig, I moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I started dating one of the sales managers. And I was 25, and she was 42, which, in retrospect, that's not that old. But at the time, it was a lot older than me. But she was foxy and kept it tight, whatever. But the first time we did stuff, she went right for the Astroglide. And I was like,
did she have the big pump?
The what?
Like a big pump of it? Or just like a...
Oh, the jug with it.
Yeah, like the ketchup at a baseball game.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah. We laid out the slip and slide and then got to it. No, it was on the nightstand. There was I was like, oh,
was it weird?
Well, but in retrospect, I'm like, 42 is not 72.
But
so maybe
kind of.
Was it weird?
I mean, it just need that.
It
like
wasn't right, but it hadn't even occurred to me, and I was like, oh, okay. No, it did. I mean,
I dated a girl that had medication that made it so she did not really produce, and so she was forward about it, and she's like, hey, I have to use lube because of this shot that I take.
Super dry. What would that sound like, Poundcake? Trying to get in there.
Like sandpaper.
Doesn't sound like macaroni in a pot. I'll tell you that. Well,
no.
At least not maybe pre-cooked.
Oh, dry macaroni in a pot.
Just clicking.
No. She's like 40 grit sandpaper up in there.
Ouch.
Yeah. Anytime you want to leave us a message, you can. The Alan Cox Show After Hours line is available to you. It is 216-986-8903.
Hi, Alan. It's another Mike from Parma, who is also catching up on the podcast and listening to Monday's show. I'm not calling with any sandwich store news. I am calling to apologize to all of the other Mikes that are in Parma. Unfortunately, I will be out of town this weekend to attend the Ohio State-Penn State game in Columbus and unable to attend the Cox Out at the Parma Tavern. But I do want to commend a Mike in Parma for coming up with this perfectly cromulent idea. Love me, love you, hate the show. Bye.
Right, I forgot about that. Another Mike in Parma called earlier in the week and said, hey, because my Cox Out on Sundays at the Parma Tavern, he goes, we should make it an unofficial Mike's from Parma meetup. And so anyway, that's out there. I mean, they do what they want, but that Mike in Parma can't make it. He's going to be in Columbus. I forgot about that. So now we're down a Mike. Well, I'll leave it to you guys. That is, whatever. Poundcake, did you get the official invitation to the Cleveland Scene Best of Cleveland party?
I didn't.
All right.
Should I check my email or something?
It's just coming down, December the 7th.
Is it? Well, I don't know. I don't know if they have
Thursday.
Yeah. It's going to be over at Temple Live. It's going to be a whole big to-do. Thursday, December 7th. You're going to have to go and rep this program. You're going to have to do it properly.
Okay. Well, when I get the invite, I will.
All right. Save the date.
I don't want to be anywhere where I'm not wanted.
Well, no, we're all winners in our respective categories, but I'm not going to go. But you should go. You're going to wear
that might be when we have our company party. That was one of the dates that they put out.
You're going to wear your lemon yellow. Well, that might be a big night then. We'll have to. What a great excuse to leave the company holiday party.
Or
Sorry, we've got to go to the best of Cleveland. What?
Nothing.
Well, no, you can do two things in one night. I mean, we got to rub elbows with the people that we don't see every day anymore now.
Yeah.
There's people who work here now that I never see, ever. There's one person I didn't know doesn't even work here anymore. Somebody was like, I go, hey, I haven't seen so-and-so, because for a while I was seeing him all the time. He goes, oh, he's been gone for like 3 months.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. So anyway, I assume that they're sending these out to all the winners, or honorees, as they are referring to them, because you are being honored. You're being feted at this party, Poundcake.
Well, I'll wait with bated breath.
And I think it would be great if they announced you as you walk in with like those big, long medieval horns with the flags hanging off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome.
Hear ye.
A big scroll. Ladies and ladies and gentlemen.
Senior Poundcake.
Why would they call you Senior Poundcake?
I don't know.
I don't either. Ladies and gentlemen, please draw your attention to the grand entrance hall of the Masonic Temple and greet Cody, Alan, Helpful, Poundcake, Brown, best sports talker in Cleveland. It's going to be so good. You got to take video or pictures or something, because even the nominees can go too, which means you're going to be rubbing elbows with all of the sports guys in this town that you beat.
Nice. Maybe there'll be like reality TV cameras there, and it would be like a cat fight or something.
You'll be like one of the basketball ladies.
Mm-hmm. Basketball wives.
Oh. Hey, I got to take a break. Another $1,000 for you on the way at 4:30. Listen for those keywords.